Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. All right, we're going to be getting started here in a couple minutes. If everybody could please silence your electronic devices, I would appreciate it. So we don't have any disturbance and everybody can hear the conversations. Thank you. No.
Just turning it up. You'll do it for everyone.
Okay.
Should be concerned.
Okay. Kim, you'll have to let us know if you can hear us good back there. So hopefully everything is working correctly. Perfect, perfect. Bring this Stuart City Council tentative agenda Monday, August 10th, 2026, 6 p.m. Council chambers to order. Call to order. Cobble.
Here.
Caps.
Here.
Ingers.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
All right. If you're able, please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, number 4, I would like, before I get a motion on this, I would like to move in new business, G, right after B. Due to Chip is going to be joining us on the phone, and he is busy and he has other commitments this evening, so we would kind of help him out if we can move that, if that's fine with you guys. So I'll need a motion on the approval of the agenda.
Make the motion. I'll second.
Moved by Russell, second by Ingers. How do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. Number 5, consent agenda, approval of minutes of 7/13/2026 and minutes of special meeting of 7/13/2026 and special meeting of 7/23/2026 and special meeting of 7/30/2026. Approval of financial statement as of 7/31/2026. Approval of bills as presented. Approval of liquor licenses, Quick Trip Incorporated, doing business as Quick Star, Ruby's Unlimited LLC, doing business as Ruby's Pub and Grill, outdoor service for special events. Need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ingers,
I'll second.
Second by Russell. How do you vote? Cobal?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. Number 6, public forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Speaker shall provide their first and last name and town of residence. The council shall not take any action during the public forum. Public forum is open. Okay, not seeing anybody. Close public forum. All right, number 7, old business. Parks and Recreation Board presentation. I'll turn it over to Jolly.
Yeah, so in your packets, just put together kind of a high-level Park and Rec Board, kind of through modeling of the City of Adele's Park and Rec Board ordinance. So there's it's Chapter 24, I believe. But here, what we're looking at is essentially there's a 7-member park board of residents of their community. Here would be more so a 5-member board here dedicated to the oversight of our park systems, our trail systems, our aquatic center. And in the event that this takes place, not that we've made a decision yet, but the American Legion building, so any recreational programming, our youth soccer leagues, for example, t-ball, softball leagues, all of that would kind of fit under the Park and Rec Board. So this is just something that we want y'all to kind of look at. Any kind of ideas or suggestions on how to modify that would be greatly appreciated, but so far it's focused on providing more of an oversight, long-term capital planning, board that can help kind of guide some of those park and rec improvements and capital improvement priorities. So a couple things that we've got kind of on the list for capital improvements, such as our pocket park at Wombold as an example. We still don't know the general direction for that, if we're going to go through a certain vendor or go through a bidding process, but with that, having a board that can kind of identify what they would like to see in the next park or what they would like to see for initial investment in our existing parks would be greatly appreciated. So that's just the goal of this presentation. So as you go through the packet here, the example would be going through multiple readings. So the first reading would be set for September 14th, the first council meeting next month. So working with Dwayne to draft the ordinance, our city attorney, and then just helping to identify the process. So it would go through mayoral appointment for each of the applicants that the city receives to get to that 5-member board, and it'll go through kind of a 3-year staggered term there as well. So again, the goal is to help to kind of support our existing operations, not to take away from that. So helping to ensure that our parks volunteer, our aquatic center has the tools and resources that they need to succeed. So we know that there's always room for improvement. There are a list of kind of some items that we as staff are in the know of, but having a board that can help guide some of the long-term priorities and the short-term priorities would be valuable to kind of help assist the council in prioritizing some of that funding. So any questions from the council?
Yes. I know it says we don't have a board right now, but you are aware we have a committee, right?
Yep.
Okay, so,
It's not codified though.
what's that?
It's not in city code.
Okay, so what's gonna happen with that?
So that wouldn't necessarily go away. So this is a separate city codified organization, like a planning and zoning
So
commission.
more
So
government oversight,
It'd be an advisory
more
board.
government oversight, right? The reason I say that, it seems silly to me to have this when you have a committee. We've had a committee for years. It's never seemed to have been a problem not being in the code. To get this money, does it have to be codified? Do these grants say you have to have it in your city code to get the money?
No, that's not a part of the grant process.
Okay, so we would spend money to draft an ordinance. How much does that cost? How much is our attorney gonna cost us on that, do you think?
So we're the ones that are putting together the ordinance, and he signs off on it. So
Okay, but he's still gonna charge us, right? So we're I just don't understand, and how is this going to get people to volunteer for it? I mean, if they're not volunteering for our committee right now, how are they gonna volunteer after this gets set up?
I think
Or do you
between-
have people in mind and people
I
ready to
think
do it
between the
already?
mayor and I, we've probably got 6 or 7 that have already.
For sure.
Oh,
I
So,
had
so we
3.
already got it, so it's already planned to do this, we already got, why don't
We've already
we?
had 6 or 7 that have requested. They have to go
Okay.
through a formal process.
So
for
why don't we
approval.
get them on the Parks and Rec committee already? Why don't we do that?
They can.
They can use this as their template and see how that goes for like a year, see how that goes. Why not step up and do that instead of you know, sending this out to spend money on it, have it codified, and why not just get it going? Barb's been on it for how long?
Several years.
Yeah. And I know she's wanted help and nobody stepped up, but as soon as we start doing something like this, we got people coming out of the woodwork to do it.
Well, that should,
I question that.
I should tell the city council that there's a need for it, a need for this. If people are coming out of the woodwork, wanting to see this, that should speak volumes on this is what the city wants as far as like the citizens. I see your point on spending the money and having that all drafted up. I totally see your point, but I don't know why people's not joining now.
I mean, it's
I
gonna
don't
be the same
understand that.
thing, right? It's the same thing as the Park and Rec Committee, it's just in your ordinance now. That's the only difference. Why not get the people that wanna volunteer in there, have them apply for the Park and Rec Committee, help Barb out? I'm sure she'd appreciate the help, you know?
I basically have done everything that's been asked of me, that everything's been brought to my attention. I've done whatever it needed to be done.
And she's
There's
been
things
limited,
that-
I mean, she doesn't understand all this, she didn't have a lot of guidance, unfortunately. You know, now we got a new city administrator that seems like he's gonna provide some guidance here, why not get those people on that Park and Rec and let's see what we can do first, before we just start codifying stuff, see how it works out, see if we can get, personalities to work together. I mean,
So in order to get grants and everything, there has to be a board and everything else, correct?
No, you do not have to have a board to get a grant, but I think the purpose of this board is to help guide future grant priorities. So it would score better if you have some type of long-term master plan, a parks master plan, that the kind of Parks and Rec Board helps to develop to get some of the REAP grant
Right.
funding, the IDA
and
grant
the
funding.
Parks and Rec that we have now, the committee, you have that committee, it's just the same thing, just, I don't understand.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the other side. If it just takes codifying it and making it a structured committee, I would say, why wouldn't we do it to get the involvement? It doesn't seem like it's a ton of work to move it forward, to have structure, accountability, expectation. So I see what you're saying, I just am
Why
on the
can't you
other side
have
of that.
accountability on, I mean, we have a cemetery committee, how come, is it, you know? It's not necessarily codified, is it?
No, I want to pause for a second.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, you're right.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
get-
Sorry to
yeah,
cut
no,
you
no,
off.
no, I
Mike.
know what you're saying. I mean, is our cemetery committee codified? Is it in there? I don't think we did. I mean, we didn't have any problem doing that. I mean, they have accountability. We can draft up, I mean, this is a good outline for your guidelines for that committee. Just saying. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we need to go through this. You know, it's just the same thing. It's just more readings, more money out, you know. So, it's up to you guys. I don't see the necessity of it when we got somebody that's already been doing it. If you get other people on there, you know, why not help out? But it's up
I
to you
think
guys.
the
That's just my 2
purpose,
cents
I
worth.
think the purpose is to align all of our amenities into one overall group. And so as long as the Parks and Rec Commission is willing to put the aquatic center in there, the sports complex in there, all of our recreational programming, we can try to make that work.
They just need the guidance. I think you got one person, you know, we can't look at it and say, well, it failed because we had one person doing it. It really didn't fail. She didn't have a chance. She didn't have the guidance. Now we got tons of people that want to volunteer for this, so let's get them on that committee. Let's get them on there. Let's use this as our guideline and what you're saying to organize that under our already existing committee.
So are they going to draft the bylaws and everything else for them?
I suppose they'd have to, you know?
Can Dick talk? about-
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
If he
mean,
wants to.
Can you talk about having
he just got volunteered.
Welcome to the committee.
I think Barb done a fantastic job on this. We had a lot of squabbles with the small ball fields and stuff. But years ago, we had a committee. We said, well, we'll go ahead and clean up the law ball park, had oodles of volunteers come to it. Well, then, all come to the council. They said, we want you to take care of this park, everything. completely stopped. Everybody said, no, we just wanna take care of one small park instead of the McDonald's park and everything else. And you get too much involved and people are gonna walk away. So,
Well,
I think it's worked out good the way it is.
right. And I think if we want to make people aware that, they would be taking on this entire thing, then they can decide if they want to be on it or not. I mean, they could walk away from a board too, I mean, they could say, I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's just the same thing. If we've got something there that's already in place, why change it?
Yeah.
Is it gonna make a difference to have it codified? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. What's that gonna do? It's not gonna hold anybody to, oh, you have to stay there,
Right.
But I think if they understand that, yeah, it is going to be this, and this, just like it would be if it's a board, then they have to make that
You
decision.
got a lot of volunteers that take care of the soccer complex.
Yeah.
Take care of the old Claver field. They jump in and help out, but you get too many people involved, and I think you have people wanting to.
Yeah, I'd say you're looking at a 5-member committee, 5-member board. That's just my 2 cents worth.
Okay.
Thanks, Dick, appreciate it.
And I think it's important to clarify that I don't think anybody said Barb failed. So I hope you hear that, Barb, that no one is saying that you failed. You've carried it for a long time, and you've done a good job, so.
So, I'll stand back here so I can lean that in well. So, years ago, there was all sorts of problems with the Lava Park. It needed to be cleaned up, like Dick said, we had all these people come and clean it up. Then the city council wanted to make it into all the parks. There's 6 parks there. And nobody wanted to do that, so everybody bailed on it, literally. And so then, that's when Jim Henderson, Matt Funk, Ash, they came to me, they said, hey, would you be Parks and Rec coordinator? I said, yes, but I believe Matt Funk needs to stay scheduling everything, so it's all done legally proper, because of all the forms, all the things you have to do. So, then, I just maintained doing whatever needed to do. I have done everything that needed to be done. I sent reports, they got sent out a couple times in the very beginning, they didn't, then they stopped sending out the reports. So basically, it's all the 6 parks. Jim and I worked very well together. Josh has done it, and Stephen, and I don't know if John helps as much, but they do wonderful at doing repairs, doing the mowing, doing all the things that needs to be done. So that's kind of been amazing there, but then Charlie and Corey came to me and wanted to have a meeting, and I said to have a board or committee, and I said, yes, at first I felt blindsided by last month, because I did not know anything at all about forming a committee, a board, anything. So we talked about it, and I said, it doesn't matter. I said, whether you have one, whether you don't, it's all about, the chain of command was, if I couldn't fix it, I went to the street department, which does the repairs, does the maintenance, do all that. Then it would go to Matt, and if Matt couldn't fix it, then it went to the city administrator. And then if he couldn't fix it, it was financial, you have to go to the city council. So that's the way it's been. They proposed having a board or committee, and I see a lot of it as grants, but Matt has done grants in it, so it's kind of like, what do you do? Do you want a committee? Do you want something that, I just had 3 people say, I would love to be on your committee, your board, but I will not take on all that other responsibility.
Other responsibility as in
Like,
what?
It's like, and I'm just gonna be honest, and I don't mean to step on anybody's toes. The 2 main concerns are Lava Park and the sports complex. Basically, everybody loves Lava Park. It's simple, it's easy. You get into the sports complex, it's a little more complicated, but Matt takes care of scheduling, is what he does. I mean, basically. And if there's grants and stuff, then he'll write the grants. So, they just don't want the other, but, I mean, basically, everyone just wants Lava Park. Nobody wants to deal with the other parks.
Then maybe changing this to a board with the expectations of these are
So
all
that's kind of the
city
background, not
rec.
to-
But you can do that on a committee too. You don't have to create a board to put the guidelines in and say this committee's gonna take care of everything. Because now you already have a committee set up, You say, hey, this is what you're gonna be responsible for. You're gonna see the people that wanna take on that responsibility. She just said, I have people wanting to volunteer, but I don't wanna have any other responsibility. You can have the same thing on a board and not get the people on the board. So now you just created a board that you can't get people on. So you have a committee, you have the expectations. You gotta have the expectations. This is what you're on. Don't sign up if you don't wanna meet the expectations. Don't do it. It's simple, you know? Don't get on there and then whine about it, that, oh, I didn't know this. Set the expectations. Then you can see how it goes. If you have people stick around, maybe maybe in 6 months to a year, maybe you do codify it. I don't know. I don't think you need to just rush in to say, oh, we gotta form this board, boom, 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 because you're gonna have the same problem, you know, with, if you're having people say, I don't want the extra responsibility now on a committee, are they gonna, why would they take it on a board? What's the magical thing between a committee and a board that makes people wanna take on that responsibility? If you can explain that to me, I'm all ears. I'm just thinking if we have something that's going right now, let's see if people wanna step up and do it. If they don't, then is there really a need for a board? I'd love to have people be on there so we can get some funding. You know, do you even need an actual board? I mean, even people to do that, or is that something, I know it would be putting more work on the staff of City Hall. Do you even need that to apply for these grants? Does it have to come from, I've not heard of that.
No, so that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, once you go through an actual grant process, if they say, oh, a Parks and Rec Board had a master plan that approved or adopted this as a funded project,
Sure.
that scores better in the application process.
No, I
than,
get it.
Hey, we've got a project, let's just
Right.
throw it in and see if we can get a grant for it.
No, I totally, but I just want to be clear that it's not a necessity. You could always apply for it.
Yep.
You'd
And I
have a
think-
better
Yeah, and I
chance.
think what we're trying to say today is, unless Barb can correct me, are there clear expectations for that commission? Like is there something that's standardized of, hey, we're supposed to be doing annual tree planting, or we're reviewing each of the parks for, potential replacement, any inspections?
The reviewing of the parks, looking at the equipment and stuff, and there is some bad equipment in the Lava Park that needs to be replaced.
Yep,
But that was the main one,
okay.
and possibly do the cleanup out of the, sports complex. But Josh has already started in on that, did a wonderful job.
Yep. So
I
I
And
think,
then if you have people who say they wanna be on this committee, and they don't even talk to me in public, how the heck am I gonna work with somebody like that? You don't talk to me in public, but you wanna be on a Parks and Rec committee or board? It's like, wow, would I even get a say in that, as to who is on that board?
Well, that would be up to the mayor appointing stuff. You know, they turn in, like any other committee, they turn in an application. Mayor presents it to council, council votes on it, you know, if that's the case, you know.
so we could set up some type of review committee where it's the mayor, a designee, that kind of reviews all the applications before it goes to council for approval. There could be ways for us to address that, but I think what we're still encountering with all of this conversation is what about the aquatic center? I think that's still the
Put it in your
outlier here.
expectations.
but-
Put it in your expectations. This is what you're gonna have to do. I think that was one thing that didn't have, was a set of expectations, you know. I think the council tried at one point, I think this was before my time.
When I very first started doing the coordination of it, the aquatic center was to be left 100% out.
Okay.
Let them do their day-to-day operations, but if there's something needs replaced, or if there's a grant or something, sure, by all means, bring them in, but, I did not have a very good conversation with Shell.
Yeah, and that's just where we gotta set that expectation with who's ever in charge, you know, and the committee, that this is what you guys are going to be, you know, have the oversight of, make the recommendations, and then see who sticks around. And you got it right there, it's right there. Just move forward with it. That's just my opinion, so that's it.
Barb, I had a question for you. Have you applied for and been approved or denied any grants in the past?
Yes.
Both? One or the other?
Both.
Okay.
They just got Matt just applied for the poet one and got a $4,000 grant for the Wumble edition, that will soon be a playground.
I think I hear what Mike's saying, I just fall on the other side of it. I think if the aquatic center is gonna be part of our Parks and Rec, I like the idea of a formalized codified board. I see what you're saying. I just like the accountability that comes with some sort of board that's accountable, more than what we have currently. So I would like to see us move forward with something, whether it's a committee and bylaws, or if it's an actual board. I do like the long-term planning, looking to the future, how we can, and I agree that when you have a plan, you do get a bigger and more detailed look from grants, if you can say this has been in our plan. So I would like to see us go forward. I'm not sure, Jolly, if you're looking for a recommendation tonight to continue
motion?
exploring this?
Yeah, I think we're just looking for a recommendation for us to start, like the draft ordinance process, and it would just be, it could be the first reading, but the city council has the authority to waive the second and third reading, so we could very well start the application and approval process next month and getting some individuals on the board. But like I said, the goal is to provide consistency, expectations for all of our parks and amenities. It's pretty rare that you'll see a city that silos all of their different park systems. It's traditional that the parks, the aquatic center, your trail systems should all be under one kind of advisory. So it's creating that long-term master plan, which will feed into Forest and Ice capital improvement plan for future improvements in the next, council's budget. So we'd like to project those in there and not just, infrastructure, equipment improvements. It should also cover our existing and future parks. So.
I think I would make a motion that we move forward with the Parks and Rec Board.
I'll second that.
All right, moved by Caps, second by Nelson. How do you vote? Cobal?
No.
Caps?
Yes.
Engworth?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right. B, Urban Renewal Plan Amendment, proposed projects to be included. Again, I'll turn it over to Jolly.
Yeah, so before you in the packet are the list of urban renewal projects for this cycle. So we're on a kind of a crunch time here between now and December 31st with some of the legal proceedings. So if we're able to get sign off on these projects, first is the Municipal Utilities Electric Substation Project. That one has already went through some council approval of the TIF application for $3.167 million. Sewer treatment plant upgrades right now, this is really a list of potential projects that we can use tax increment finance for. So each individual project would come before the city council for approval. So don't think that these are automatically going to be spent as projects, but $100,000 for sewer treatment plant upgrades. That's something that Forrest has been sharing with us. But first, we're looking at some operational improvements to kind of help address some of those concerns. Hopefully, we can fix that and not have to make these improvements. But in the event that the operational improvements can't work, we'll have to revisit that. Later on in the agenda, we've got the Travel America, and also next to that is a Stuart traffic signalization project. So the TIF application today that was resubmitted was up to $2.25 million over 20 years. The Stuart traffic signalization project, that includes both traffic signals at the north and south ramp and also some sewer relining improvement work to help with the infiltration at the location there by Quickstar and the potential Travel America sites. White Pole Road, I have this one highlighted. This one was, we actually already have it in urban renewal, but I have the current amount in there at $3 million. Wasn't sure if the council was looking to increase that amount. The budget for that is north of $5 million today, so. And then water treatment plant, that one's projected for this year for the urban renewal area, a future project year to be determined. That's $12.3 million. I added this as a placeholder, but if the council wants to move in the direction of future industrial growth, logistics, warehousing, distribution, a certified site at this current Stuart Rail Park would be very beneficial to the community. This is something, especially in the metro, our consultant, Marquiso Bondurant, as an example, this certified site process was what allowed them to land Vermeer. They're right off I-80. That's another benefit of this community is logistics and warehousing would have immediate access to the interstate. And so that's one thing that I would like to prioritize is future industrial growth in the community, bringing more jobs to Stuart. Next is annual street improvement projects. So after talking to our bond council, we'll need to have specific locations identified for these projects. And so Forrest, Josh, and their team put together kind of a street audit, so identifying which areas of town are bad, fair, good for future improvements. So that's something that we can work on, specific locations for the next cycle of street improvements, curb and gutter work. And then finally, the All Saints Center extension. So that's going to be another 5-year extension for that is what is projected with this urban renewal amendment. That's at $150,000. But after chatting a little bit with the Saints Center, this might end up becoming just a 1-year to allow them to pay down their utility revolving loan. That was the purpose of their original rebate that was given to them, was so that they could pay off that loan. So they're asking for just 1 year because on the other side they're also receiving hotel motel tax in the amount of $26,000 per year. So that's for this year.
Okay.
So here, just looking for recommendation from the council for us to move forward with setting the public hearing date. So that would be next month's council meeting. It would be setting the date on September 14th. And then that allows staff to work with our taxing entities. We have to do a whole notice of consultation process with the counties, with the school districts, having a set-aside meeting with these urban renewal projects, and then barring any concerns or any outstanding feedback from them, we get to move forward with the public hearing. And then at the end of it, we'll also have to do a kind of a TIF ordinance as well before December 31, just with the recent state changes that pulls the school foundation levy out of the tax increment finance increment. So pretty much January 1 and on, future projects will be basically seeing a 15% reduction in total revenue kind of tied to that removal. So we need to get as many of these through the finish line as possible. So between now and December 31. So.
I mean, it sounds like we definitely need to increase the White Pole Road Front Street allocation. I mean, if we're projecting in the 5 right now, I mean, just say 6, just as a placeholder. I mean, obviously, if it doesn't need to spend that much, we don't spend that much.
Yep.
So, but I think we should increase that one.
Okay. Any more questions for Jelly on that?
Is that 100,000, is it sufficient for that certified site development?
Yeah, so that'll just involve the due diligence, the survey work. Right now, the site already has development on it, but Brenda and I have been working together kind of on that process, so we'd be able to make 100,000. That'll get through us through the entire certification. But, yeah.
And then it sounds like the utilities kind of decided they weren't pursuing water treatment plant right now.
Yeah, so this is just I don't want to say a wish list, but it's projects that in the future could, be utilized, but obviously not in the short term. That's more of a long term.
Okay.
Yep.
Forrest?
I've been sitting here thinking about that wastewater number. You could bump that maybe to 2,
Just be on the safe side.
be on the safe side.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Jolly? Okay, we'll move on. Thanks, Jolly. All right, C, 423 Southwest 2nd Street, water runoff complaint, Alan Neal. I think Josh and maybe Forrest was looking at this, maybe, no?
Yeah, so after city attorney review, the city's not required to cause any of the construction for improving the stormwater. We sold the property a few years ago now. But however, the city and its engineer, they're going to work with Alan just on some best practices on how to manage the kind of the stormwater runoff on their property.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So just, I think they're going to stop out at his property. I think he's out of the country right now, but once he's back, I think they'll get connected. So.
Okay. All right, D, proposal to purchase property from city, parcel 04052561010, rural. And that, you're just giving an update on that?
Another update. So city attorney is also developing the legal procedures for us to properly dispose of the property or sell the property to Raul. So that's specific Iowa code section, but it would involve us appraising the property, setting a price, and formally going through the public hearing process for that. So nothing more to update besides that'll potentially be on next month's council agenda. So.
Okay. All right, E, Stuart American Legion Post 146, proposal to donate property to city.
Yeah, so this item here was just I think there's a member of the public from the American Legion that may have something to say about this item.
Ray, do you have anything to say?
All I know about it is we have not voted to cut the Legion down yet, so I don't know why it's brought up here. I think
Okay.
they're getting the cart before the horse. The state's already told me that the state offices.
Okay,
That's all I've got to say about it.
okay, thank you.
So I think on our side, if, especially the Legion board, probably getting some further guidance on that before we move forward on this. On the city side, the only action that we would need is a formal resolution to accept the donation. But until the board overall has a discussion or some type of resolution on that, I think we kind of hold off.
Better pause on that.
Yep.
Okay. Bless you. All right, F, zoning ordinance proposed change regarding alcohol and tobacco sales.
So this is another ordinance change that will be coming forward to city council next month. City attorney and city staff are working together on that, so that regarding the 50-foot radius with tobacco and alcohol sales in the community, so.
Okay, that's it for old business. 8, new business. Request to address council regarding complaints. Mrs. Church, you want to come up to the podium if you would, please, if you want to address the council?
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address
She
you
needs
this
to
evening.
speak up. We can't hear her back here.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the council this evening. I'm here to discuss with you AV Sanitation, which is operating a commercial garbage truck business out of a residential property. It's a violation of Stuart's residential codes. It should be heavy industrial. It's also a violation of Iowa code. The trucks are parked during non-business hours, loaded with garbage, oftentimes left idling loudly. And I submitted a photo that showed the distance. Those were generous measurements. The front of the closest truck sits roughly about 30 feet from my kitchen sink. In cold weather, they're left idling for sometimes overnight. This weekend, it idled for 2.5 hours in the middle of the day while they awaited offloading from a pickup truck of garbage. They're emitting severe odors to the point we can't enjoy our yard. We don't do anything in our yard anymore. We don't grill, we don't hang laundry on the line, we don't have people over. My children don't camp in the tents in the yard anymore. The smell is so severe that we are often keep our windows closed because it's penetrating even with the windows closed. And that's oppressive to have to always be a slave to the electric bill of our conditioning or heating in order to just live in our house. Additionally, the parked waste, besides stinking, it's attracting pests. The fly condition in our yard is out of control. Any stray cats, loose dogs. Regularly, we see raccoons in the alleyway. I don't know how prevalent that is in the rest of the city, but most of the time that I go out in the alley after dark, there's a raccoon out there. So this operation violates Stuart Municipal Code, Section 5001, the definition of a nuisance. It's depriving us use of our property. And it's a commercial business that has no right to sit inside of a residential zone. In fact, state, Iowa DNR code, EPA code, all state that it's heavy industrial, emitting toxic waste, and they have codes for addressing that. The garbage juice leaks nearly continuously from these trucks, regardless of precipitation. They do it in active collection on the roadways. They do it in sitting in the truck spots of the 2 gravel parking spots at the residential address. It runs From the truck that is parked with the rear of it facing North Fifth Street, I did include maps for you to see in my package. The rear of that truck that faces North Fifth Street that the city just repaved, it leaks off of the gravel down North Fifth, roughly in front of the driveway that is immediately before Division Street. It cuts across and makes a clear path into the storm drain at that corner. With the recent asphalting, that road is solidly black. And currently, as I drove here this evening, that trail is dry. But you can visually trace the whole goo line from the deposit at the back of the truck to the entrance to the storm drain. Iowa has one of the highest cancer rates because of our water contamination. It's not only classified as hazardous waste, but it's emitting things into our streams that are forever chemicals and that are giving people cancer. I've supported my statements with historical Google photos that sadly only go back to 2011. However, this company has been conducting business here in this Stuart, pardon me as I compose myself. This company has been conducting business here in Stuart since 1974. It's been a series of different trucks that have been Google documented on Street View that have been leaking since 2011. Periodically, they drop gravel to cover it up because they can't back the truck in the alley out without it getting stuck up in the smushy, slimy, gooey gravel. The level of groundwater contamination that's potential just from what's gone into the gravel, regardless of what went to the storm drain, is required by EPA and the Iowa DNR to have complete ground abatement of that. I've listed them. I can state them for you if you'd like me to specify them, but they have codes that state that the vehicles must be parked on a non-porous surface with a drain that does not emit into the streams. So it isn't just as simple as move them to somewhere ambiguous gravel lot maybe that the city owns or some other private residence or a parking spot in an industrial zone in our city, because they have to be on a non-porous surface. That's not negotiable. Additionally, I want to discuss with the council the fact that this company is contracted to be the city's carrier, and they are lacking all proper documentation that's required by Iowa DOT. Iowa DOT states that they must have 2.5-inch letters that are high contrast and visible at 50 feet. They must have their DOT numbers on the vehicles, along with company logo that tells the rest of the public how to reach that company. They have none of that. And with that being made public to you, I am asking that the council address this and publicly disclose the company's legal status, their commercial licensing and insurance, and if they even carry it, their safety inspections. If they had undergone safety inspections, the trucks would not be leaking. They can't be DOT licensed officially in the condition that they are. So I'm contending that I'm not even sure that the city has the right to have a contract with a company who is not doing business legally in the state of Iowa. They have stated publicly on social media that they are not affiliated with 80 Sanitation LLC out of Casey, Iowa. And if that is the case, the state of Iowa has no registration other than that listed to 80 Sanitation. I'm requesting immediate removal from their yards and then further addressing their non-compliant operation. They need to meet safety standards. Iowa DNR and EPA says that soil contamination must be remediated from where they've been parked. And They have to be removed to a heavy industrial zone. So that is my request of the council this evening, and I appreciate you giving me the time to voice it.
Okay.
I brought, if you didn't have a chance to see the digital records that I sent you, I did bring printed Google photos that show all the historical leakage. I also brought a couple screenshots of Google where I kind of snapped a line to see how far it was hypothetically. And roughly middle of the farthest truck to middle of my house, which is not where I make dinner, is about 90 feet on one truck. On the other one, it's only 45. There's no way to stand and do dishes, cook my family dinner, without enjoying the wonderful smell of garbage. It's worse than being next to the dumpsters at the fair. So,
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Church before we're not done with this topic, so I'm just asking if you guys have questions for Mrs. Church while she's standing up here.
No, I don't.
Okay?
Thank
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just a second. Is that all you had, Mrs. Church? Okay, okay.
If you're done with me, yes.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead
Thank you.
and come up.
Thank you so
if-
much.
Oh, I don't wanna come up, but I'm Shannon and I completely back Stephanie 100% on that. I made a complaint to the DNR as well on it, and I understand that the AVs have been around for a while and they have a big name here in this town, but that does not make it okay for the way that they are operating their business. I brought it to the city and I was told that it's grandfathered in. I'm not sure what that means, why that's a thing, but it needs to change. It's absolutely disgusting. And for people to say, if you don't like it, leave, that's what this town is representing. They're telling people to leave if we don't like it, because the AVs are such a big thing in this town. So I agree with you, something needs to be done immediately.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
May
All
I
right,
say
let's-
one thing in response to that?
Sure.
I understand that social media is not any trying of this topic, but the way that fractions of the city, not meaning youth, but the community, have come at us for simply questioning this, I believe is the reason that nobody has really addressed this with the council before. There's been out and out threats to us. And it shouldn't take, laws have changed a lot in the time that they've been doing business. 52 years, that's most of my life. When you know better, you do better, and that's where we're at. The city's not doing right by our community. My beef is not personally with the AVs. Not saying bad things about them. My problem is the way that their company is being conducted and impacting my family, my community, my state.
Okay. All right. Like to move on. Scott, you have replies. Come on up, Scott, if you would, please.
My first question, how long have you lived at your residence?
Oh, hold on, Scott. Just address your problem to us.
Yeah.
Well, I can honestly tell you, the trucks have been there. They are legal by the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
Totally legal. I do not have to have DOT numbers. I called years ago and thought, you know, trucks have to have that. I was told I haul nothing of value. I do not have to do that. My trucks are inspected annually. I try to keep up to date on all of them. Woo. A seal went bad, I got it replaced. We solved the problem. As far as rodents, I don't see rodents. Mom's house isn't infested. Is it the way people are living around there maybe? I don't know. Her house is not infested. I've never seen a coon there, a possum. I've never seen tracks. There is one cat, a black cat that comes from across the road. That garbage is all sealed up in them trucks. They don't get it. And the only dogs I see is when theirs get loose that comes over.
Okay.
this isn't about dogs.
Okay.
But
Hold on.
every bit of them trucks are totally legal. I have
They're not
all my
legal.
Hold
insurance.
on, order.
Wait,
They wouldn't be legal.
No, order. Please do not speak.
I have all of my insurances, everything that I am supposed to have. And I've also done investigating on this toxic waste. If it was toxic or hazardous, and anybody would know, the license that I hold, wouldn't I have to have a hazardous materials license to drive that truck? It is not listed that way. Everybody doesn't put hazardous stuff in their garbage. They all follow the rules, right? I have no idea. All I know is I would have to have a hazardous endorsement on my license to drive that truck if it was considered hazardous material. As far as the water, food produces water. Rain produces water. It comes, it's gonna leak out because it's getting squished. I mean, you can't control all of it by any means. Now, there is a runoff that comes off of garbage, and that's at landfills. It takes 2 to 3 months for garbage sitting in a moist condition, which is the ground, to produce this runoff. That runoff is taken to a sewer treatment plant and turned back into rivers. My trucks are leaking nothing but water, guys. Pop, water, pop, whatever people throw in their garbage. It's not toxic. If it was toxic and it was gonna kill them, I've been doing this for 50 years. Personally, 50 years. I think I would have something wrong with me by now. It's not the issue that they say. And which brought to my attention to start paying attention. I have seen them outgrowing. I see their windows open the last week and a half. Not a problem. Why is it a problem now? This is my main question, and I know what the problem is. Because there's only been one thing that's ever changed in that company. And that was my dad died. They were scared of me. Now they think they can bully me and it ain't gonna work. It does grandfather in, and it still does. If you all decide to eliminate that grandfather clause, you better do it for the whole town, because that's singling out one person. And I mean everybody. You better take every business out of every residential. That includes these people that babysit. That's a business. You gotta eliminate that out of the residential areas. This has been here for 52 years and never been a problem until recently. I do the best I can do to make sure everything is right. Them trucks are dumped at least every day, if not every 2 days, except for when there's a holiday. I have to have 3 days on them because I can't dump them. That is not my fault. It is not in violation of the city code. The city code she's talking about is people putting trash around their house or dumping it out of it. I do not dump trash at my mom's house. It sits on my trucks to go to the dump. That's what that code is. If you read it, it's for the residents not to be piling up garbage around their house. Reason they're on rock, the code says that it has to be on rock. That's in the code. That should be fine. So there's nothing toxic, nothing hazardous. It's just somebody decided to change their mind, I guess, because nothing has changed.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Scott. I do want to hear, Josh, you've been helping Mr. Avey too. You want to come on up and just address the council on what's kind of been happening in your world on this as well too, please?
So basically, all I can really attest to is the drainage within the stormwater sewers. That's kind of my department, I guess. It's stated within chapters 95 and 97 of the city code. And here, within the last week or so, AV Sanitation replaced the rear seal on the tailgate. I went up there the other day when it was raining. The only thing coming off that truck was rainwater. I do have a picture when he lifted the tailgate up. There was some juices, as Ms. Church called them. They did come out of the weep hole, but that was above the tailgate seal. So therefore, I guess from our aspect, the stormwater stuff, we'll monitor it. And I believe Mr. Avey provided you guys with a plan as well of how he's going to keep in line with this.
Okay.
Anything for me?
No, anybody?
Very good.
Anybody have anything for Josh? No. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mrs. Church.
May I readdress you?
Absolutely. You can come on up.
So although you didn't allow him to address me initially, I want to go ahead and answer your question. We have resided at this residence for 3 years on August 1st, and we have been inside WCD School District for 10 as a part of this community. I rent my house from a pastor and his wife. They resided there for 15 years. They did not undertake this problem and suffered oppressively the same way we are with the smells and the pests, and chose not to bring it up because of their position in the community. He was a pastor of 2 churches, and she was a secretary at a different church. And they felt that bringing a big ruffle into the world like this was going to impact their position in the community and not make them able to do their jobs appropriately. So, in the digital packet that I included to you guys were cited the contaminants that are contained inside of leachate, which is the technical term that the EPA and the Iowa DNR uses for garbage juice. And there's no such thing as safe garbage juice. It is in all conditions considered a hazardous waste, both chemicals and biohazards, regardless of whether somebody is appropriately handling their garbage. I'm not talking about somebody who chooses to change their oil and sneak it into the garbage. That's a problem. There's lots of people that don't follow those rules. I'm talking about the normal everyday garbage that we all throw away. Diapers, menstrual products, anything that somebody's using to contain a wound all have biohazards on them. And that's not to mention just the other chemicals that routinely make it to the garbage. My digital packet to you stated the specific codes with both the EPA and the Iowa DNR that in fact contest what Mr. Avey has just said. There is no grandfathered in. There is no don't need your information on the truck, or pretty much everything he stated to you was false. And I provided the documents in that digital document to you that I hope that you've had a chance to review, because this issue can't just be grandfathered in and hearsayed away. There's rules at every level. And in no case can an under authority choose to deregulate. So, for instance, the state says you have to park them on a non-permeable surface with a floor drain that doesn't go to a storm runoff. You as the council can't choose to do less than that. Our city can't choose to do less than that. You could choose to over-regulate them and state, no, that's not good enough for our community. We want them in a building so we don't have to see and smell them. But you can't choose to go back on something that the state or federal has already regulated and has policies in place for handling. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that all of the things that he just addressed with you were documented in my packet, and the codes are there for your review, and there's not special rules for somebody that's been doing it this long. It just isn't. So,
Thank you, Mrs. Church. Just to address the council, Harrison, our code enforcement, is here. If you guys have questions for him, he will take questions if you guys want to address him.
I have a question for Scott, real quick.
Yeah.
I know you had addressed that the sanitation, the landfill has some restrictions. Can you just kind of explain what that is, why you can't get out there?
What do you mean restriction?
Well, in your letter, it said it had some restrictions that, you know, the garbage may have to sit in your truck for a couple days due to the landfill, so.
They're closed.
Oh, it's just closed,
They
okay.
don't when they're closed.
Okay, I didn't know if there's something else.
They
Okay,
don't allow that no more.
Okay.
They used to, they don't no more.
okay.
That's all new board and people running it and stuff, and, yeah, they do not allow it. And they close earlier a lot more, and cut out weekends. It's every other Saturday through the summer, closed all weekend, all winter. So that provides a, you know, it's either I find someplace else to go, which I can't do that, because that's against the law. The city of Stuart has an agreement with them, it has to go there.
that provides you a window of how often.
Hold on. Order.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Scott.
So it has to go there. So I have to follow their rules too. You know. I work 24/7, you know. I don't get days off.
Hey, Scott, where do you live currently?
I live at 1175 Kent Avenue, Casey.
South of town.
Yep.
Would you be willing to park your trucks at home?
Well, that would be an awful pain in the butt, because my main business is over here. I open and enroll my daughter over here. She rides to work with me. That means I would have to bring her over, drive back, grab the trucks, do my job, go back, park the truck, come back, get my daughter. You know, that's not gonna work. The trucks have to be in this town.
Can't you bring your daughter over in the truck?
Well, I could.
I'm just looking for simple solutions. I'm not trying to pick on you by any
I
means.
mean, I could, but that would be, you know, I don't really feel comfortable doing that. But, like I say, my main business is over here, that's why she is open and rolled over here, because I'm over here.
Sure. But you have to drive from your house over to Stuart anyway.
Yeah, yep,
You see where I'm coming from?
yep, but the garbage truck is not a grocery getter.
I get it. I understand.
I'm sorry.
No, I understand. It's not easy.
I do get my groceries every day before I go home and
Yeah.
things like that, you know, that's just not really proper. I mean, they have to be located in this town. Yeah. Because where they're at, there's never been a problem, I don't know why it's such a problem now.
I'm just putting myself in their position. If that garbage is sitting there for 3 days, that the garbage
Well,
does
no,
stink.
The only time it sits there for 3 days is
Not every day, I get it.
on a holiday.
Right.
I can honestly tell you, they're dumped Monday, they're dumped Tuesday, they're dumped Wednesday, they're dumped Thursday, they're dumped Friday, and every other Saturday they're dumped. So you're only talking 2 days every other weekend. That ain't bad. And she's very wrong on her rules for the trucks having to have DOT, they do not have to.
I know there's a lot of small company exceptions that happen. So, I mean,
Yeah, you do not have to have it, because you call nothing of value is what they say.
So it feels like we've got some conflicting information. The one that sticks out the most to me is this porous surface. How do we get the answer on that? I mean, we have two people on opposite sides, so Harrison?
We have our code
Do
enforcement.
you have that answer?
Be able to
Okay.
provide some insight.
Come on up, Harrison. Yep.
Nice to see new faces up there.
My name's Harrison Van Oswald. I own Iowa Code Enforcement. I do code enforcement for Stuart. So you guys are asking about the
He
codes.
needs to speak up a little bit, excuse me.
So you guys are asking about the codes. I am more than willing to produce all the codes for you guys, or we can kind of go over some of them right now. So I guess, which ones do you want to hear about first? I got a list of them. Or do you want me to just kind of go down the line?
Just do it, buddy.
Start.
All right, so definition of nuisance, that's section 50.01. That just goes over the nuisances in town. So smells, all those other situations, or offensive to your senses. So on yeah, so it's mostly just nuisance, as in just visually a nuisance, or just smells of nuisances. Makes it a nuisance. So I guess. Sorry, I just gotta find some stuff here. So you guys have a whole section. It'd be 106 out of your chapters of your code. 106.02 is collection vehicles. Vehicles are containers used for the collection and transportation of garbage and similar petrolable waste or solid waste containing such materials shall be leak-proof, durable, and easily cleanable construction. They shall be cleaned to prevent nuisances, pollution, or insect breeding, and shall be maintained in good repair. So we're talking about home occupations. So definition of home occupations is listed under 106, 165.03. Home occupation means that an occupation conducted in a dwelling unit, provided that, and then it goes section A, or that out into that area, it's section A. No person other than the member of the family residing in the premises shall be engaged in such occupation, except by special exemption of the Board of Adjustment, which may allow one person other than a family member not residing on the premises to be employed. I guess so, section C, there shall be no change in the outside appearance of the building premises, nor shall there be any outdoor storage allocated with the home occupation or other visible evidence of the conduct of such home or occupation. And then it kind of goes into signs. Section F, no equipment or process shall be used in such home occupation which creates noise, vibration, glare, fumes, odors, or electrical interference detectable to the normal senses of the lot. If the occupation is conducted in a single-family residence or outside the dwelling unit. And it just kind of keeps just going on. Do you guys have any questions about those certain codes at all?
So I do have a question about 50.01, the nuisance odors. Earlier this year, we had a family that came to discuss some abatement issues, and one of the things that came up was the 50.01 nuisance smells coming off their property. That I was included on the email chain, going back and forth a lot with that. They were required to clean up and contain those smells as best as possible. How can a garbage truck not produce smells even without garbage in it?
So, in R1 district is what that house is located in.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're only able to have residents there. Yes, some people have home occupations, they have a construction business or whatever, but once they make it into a violation of keeping all the construction materials outside and all that other stuff, then they have to move it to a different area. That's kind of the same way for a lot of different occupations. But, so like, say, home daycare. If you have home daycare, because that was one of the ones that was brought up, you have all the kids inside, you have them outside. Yes, the toys are on the outside, and sometimes that becomes a problem, but it's kind of a gray area. All this stuff kind of is. So, but in your guys' code, HI would be heavy industrial. So that in, I believe it's section, let's see. So permitted uses could be number 2, and then garbage is listed under that. So hauling, dumping, that kind of stuff is listed under, that type of occupation would be have to ran out of that zoning district, so.
Out of HI.
HI is heavy industrial.
And what is the current zone? Is it the same as?
It's a residential.
Same,
Yeah.
okay.
So, we talked about prohibited discharge, that's section 97.03. No person shall discharge or cause to be discharged any of the following described waters or waste into a public sewer. I'm just gonna go through and list them quickly. So number 1 is flammable or explosive material. Number 2 is toxic or poisonous material. Number 3 is corrosive waste. And number 4 is solid or viscous substances. So, you want me to go into detail on any of those? There's whole sections for each one.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, as code violations state, the property's not zoned for it, in my opinion, is not zoned for it. Grandfathering in, that's not a thing that happens for businesses. That goes for any business. So it's something that the Board of Adjustment has to approve. So it's something that the city would have to approve, and you guys would have to go forward with it that way.
So did the Board of Adjustments approve this years ago? Is that the grandfathered in piece, that this was approved by Board of Adjustments, and can we see when?
And does that approval have to be renewed at all?
Yeah, is
or-
it just like a forever?
It is a forever thing, I believe, if once the Board of Adjustments does it, because I think you have like 30 days as a council. If you didn't like it, then you have to actually sue them to get it changed, which is kind of weird, because the Board of Adjustments has some power on that. The thing is, when you say it's not grandfathered in, I know we had some, and I don't do what you do, so bear with me. I know we've had some home auto repair places. We had a truck repair thing over there for years, and I know, I don't know if they're still in business, some of the auto repair places, but they were still doing business after I think we changed our ordinance where you can't have that in there. So, and they didn't get in trouble because they were always said to be grandfathered in under they had their business prior to the ordinance change. So,
city code does change throughout the years. There is no codes before a certain time.
right.
The codes are in place to keep the town cleaned up, keep everything nice, everything working in good order. People say grandfathered in whenever something's just there beforehand. So I deal a lot with this with doing rental inspections as well. People will be like, hey, the property's, this is the way it was. When you rent a property, all the codes apply for a property maintenance code. It has to be updated. So people running their business from their home residence, it's the way that they were doing it before, and then the code was changed, and then they say it was grandfathered in. It's more or less just them saying that it was.
Okay.
Unless they have documentation.
Okay.
Saying that it was okay by Board of Adjustment.
Okay. All right.
So,
I think as staff, what we can do is kind of review some prior Board of Adjustment meetings to see if we can find a special exception that took place, but if not, then we'll need to take some additional steps to.
Yeah, and check
Based on
out.
council direction. But,
Yeah, well, I'd also maybe look into like the DNR stuff. I probably not gonna get an answer right tonight because we wanna make sure we take the right steps. And I know it can be frustrating for both sides, but I think we need to look into all the regulations that were mentioned, the DNR stuff, inspections, really work with Scott too, to get information, if we need more information, from the homeowner, do that. Just so make sure that we're gonna do it the right way, and not just have a knee-jerk reaction, on this. So that'd be my direction, is really, check into everything that kind of was said here, from both parties.
So as far as codes go, I'll provide Sarah with all the code, for stuff that we talked about and some of the things that Mrs. Church has mentioned, and you guys can take that from there.
Perfect.
Okay. You guys
Thanks.
have any other questions?
I do have another question, kind of more geared towards Scott. You said that this seemed to be a business either owned by Chuck Senior and or you together. Are you the sole proprietor, or?
Dad started it, and then we went together with it.
Mhm.
And now that he has passed, it comes to me, of course.
Okay, so you're the sole proprietor, sole business owner,
Yes.
but you don't even reside in Stuart.
Nope, but the reason the truck stayed, because Mom's name's still on stuff
Okay.
as an owner. And it was my understanding for a lot of years, and the reason them trucks have never left that property is because the moment they get off that property, if they're parked somewhere else, that grandfather clause is gone. You cannot bring them back. This is all done years ago, guys, before all these new rules and stuff and what have you. That's why they call it grandfathered in.
I mean, I hate that term grandfathering, but
When Mom dies, I am not gonna have a choice. I will have to do something different.
yeah. With the grandfathering in, you got to look at it as it grandfathers you in to operate a business out of
Yeah.
that location, but doesn't necessarily grandfather violating other codes,
Well,
not relating
I
to
haven't
the actual
tried to
business.
find it. And one of the things I am doing is they are getting washed every week. The insides of the backs are getting cleaned out every week to minimize any kind of a smell,
Where those get washed at.
right there where they sit.
Okay.
It's just gravel dust. It's not nothing. It's not like I'm inside washing them out. I don't do that.
Yeah.
And as far as, and I know what one of the main issues is when she talks about the trucks running. Well, welcome to the new road, guys. They have depth. You have to regenerate your truck or else it does not run. That takes an hour. Well, I can't sit while I'm picking up garbage for an hour. I got to get my stuff done so I can get to a landfill. My choices are either do it when I'm finished, which that's normally what I do. That's the only time that they sit and run unattended is when they're regenerating. Most of the time, they will regen going down the road, but it doesn't completely do it all the time. And that's all legal by EPA, because that's their rule. It's not toxic. Myself personally, I think it stinks.
Mike, did you have a question?
Oh, no.
No, I'm sorry, I thought you
What?
rose your hand,
Oh,
sorry.
no.
Mrs. Church. Okay.
Well, I wanted to circle back with you, sir, because as they invited you up, the question that he asked, which if you answered, I didn't hear it specifically, was about a permeable surface parking.
Yeah.
Did you answer that?
I did not answer that. So that falls in under many codes, but your permeable surface, yes, it needs to be located on top of concrete, and that needs to not be connected to the city sewer. So,
Okay.
drainage.
So then additionally, I wanted to say to the council here that the picture that was provided, I think it was taken by your, can't remember his name.
Josh.
Josh?
Yeah.
Josh, that's Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
Sorry, by Josh. of the seal of the truck visually shows that that seal has a rip in it. And I'm willing to go to the landfill to document how often they are not dumping these trucks. I know that's something that they keep record of, and his contestment that it's every single day is incorrect. Every single day they sit there full of garbage. And they're not closed up, as documented in the plentiful amount of photos that I supplied to you. The last couple days since the city addressed him with a letter, the back end has been closed. Prior to that, they always sat open, as our video and pictures have shown. They're sitting there open for the animals to come and go from. And then the other thing that I wanted to address, again, stating my problem is not with the AVs as people, as my neighbors. I feel like in the 3 years we've lived there, I've tried to be good neighbors. I've included them in my joy of baking and share with them, including when Mr. A died this year, I made food for their family. In fact, when Shannon brought her case to the DNR in December, as their direct neighbor, I was going to come to you in January's meeting. But Nadine reached out to me in early January to tell me that Mr. Avey had gone into home hospice. At the end of the story, we're all humans living in the same community and should love each other like we want to be loved. And that was not the proper time to come at their business for this. So we said, we'll sit on a minute. And now we're in the thick of grilling and want to use our yard, and the oppressive heat just makes the garbage worse. And to directly answer the question of why now and not then, Mr. Avey's death did contribute to it. Because when I helped my friend move out of her house, they moved away to an hour away. And I came back into the house over the course of the next couple weeks to do cleaning. And this was way before we were moving in. There was almost a whole calendar year that it sat empty between when she moved out and I moved in.
Okay, Mrs. Church, I don't want to cut you off, but we've had.
You need to know that Mr. Avey.
Excuse me, I'm talking. Okay, calm down.
The neighbor's seen it.
Oh, hold on.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Now, is this your husband?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Mr. Church, you had something to say a little while ago before I cut you off. Would you like to say anything?
Been covered.
Okay. All right. Does the council have all the information that you need at this time?
I still have questions. I don't think we can answer them tonight. I
Okay.
do have concerns about the non-porous versus porous surface. I do have questions about the DNR and EPA requirements. And I do think that now we know and we need to look into it. I think maybe I saw Sarah take a note about in the Board of Adjustments, where are the minutes that, and I don't want to use the term grandfather, special exception was given. So I think we have asked more questions than maybe we started with that we need to get the answers for.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. We've heard both sides here, and I just want to make sure the council has the information they're looking for. And I feel comfortable that everybody does. And if the council doesn't have any other questions, I think you guys give Jolly and Sarah direction of where we need to go. This isn't done, we'll look into it, okay? You do have a word on that. We'll look into it, and we'll try to find a solution for both parties. This is a tough conversation. Obviously, there's a lot of passion going in on both sides of everything, and the council, I have wholeheartly have a lot of belief that the council is going to come up to find a solution. We hear both sides. We appreciate both sides speaking up. But I think right now we just don't have those answers that everybody's looking for. So give us some time. We'll get some things straightened out. We'll see what we can do. Okay? All right. Okay, thanks, Harrison. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You bet. We'll take a 2-minute recess. Is you holding that in? That piece of fuzz on you, that would go off in me.